something that we don't need is burnt down, and you have what you need to have in your life. So it's like a thesis. It's very serious, very powerful combination of words. I have never heard being examined by access. These words have changed my understanding of life a lot. I was watching an anointing service online, and pastor said that when you are there inside alive, watching it alive, it's a little bit different. But when you are watching it online, you feel it differently. So I was watching this service online, and I can tell you that it was kind of different perceiving of my pastor's face even. I saw it differently that Sunday. I saw the face of our pastor very big. It was while he was saying the name of the book. So my comment is that I had inside, when he was talking about his books, inside I had one phrase like, he's genius, simply genius. Even if you take any psychological books, go through the content, and you will see that there is nothing. It's just water, just some phrases the author don't really change your life. I can witness that the books which we have in common, reading sales, they don't change life mostly. But if you see the books, if you read the books by pastor, you will see that these books they change your life. I want to mention, I want to point out that there are people by our side. We meet them in our life, and they give you access. They give you access to their family, to their house. They give you access to their private life. And if you leave these people and then you just talk with everyone about their problems, about their life, it means you failed this access, this examen by being given this access to these people. Wherever you are led to go, whoever you meet in your life, this is your examen. Just have like a nail, like a mark that you will be tested, you will be tried, you will be checked. If you are by our pastor's side, you will be checked. You will be tested. If your boss gave you a job, you will be tested. So God tells your faith will be tested. Faith is a relationship, because in this case God wants to check everything. You are at the examination every day, in every situation, and when you are tuning yourself, if you are tuning yourself on being checked every time, checking your heart all the time, checking. For example, God gave me an example about Samuel. When he was a baby, he was brought up in awful society because he saw people around, people who served God, and they were doing things which were not really godly things. So, even being in that society, Samuel didn't see anything negative in that. He saw, he was focused on the goal, he was focused on his God, he was focused on the Word, a relationship with God. He knew that it was a place where he had to study, and he understood conclude that when God was talking to him, the first person he ran, his pastor, his teacher, but the prophet didn't correct his children, and Samuel saw it as well. He actually could change his life or make wrong decisions. And that is one of the examples when in church we can have a wrong leadership. And if God places you in church, the most important is it's not even your leader or pastor, it's the place where you are placed. So you don't have to worry about your leader. God will correct him with time. Before I came here 1 year, I had very difficult situation in one church. It was hard for me because I didn't serve God there. I was simply dying in the church, and to tell the truth, myself, I would have left it a long time ago, but I told myself, God, once I made a mistake, I left because I didn't like something in the church, and God actually made it like one more time, one more examination. It was so difficult to be in that church. Everything was being constructed or made to let me go, to tell me goodbye. So in this case, because of those conditions, when they wanted me to leave, I told myself, God, you will do it yourself. You will let me out. And I have to tell you that God knows times. He gave me this test one more time when my pastor told himself, you have to go, I bless you. And that was exactly the moment when I returned to my dear church, to Pastor Sunday's church. Pastor Sunday once said, when people leave the church, let them go. We have one sister who went, we have one sister who left the church and then returned. So I have to tell you that in our church, what we have, it's not, it's a special atmosphere, special spirit. I told pastor that I saw that he has been able to create in mega church the color and condition of the first church ever. Yes, they gathered at homes, but in this case, they had a different style of church. So to make the same atmosphere when the first church gathered in houses and they ate bread together and they loved each other and they shared things with each other, I can tell you that it was really home church. This is a miracle that pastor has created something from mega church like home. I have visited a lot of churches. I have visited a lot of places, different countries. I have never seen anyone being able to create anything like that. A big church, a huge church with the atmosphere of a home cell, with the atmosphere of love. So this is what that is exactly what pastor is teaching us today. You can simply look at the name, the whole name of the books in general. It's a University of Life, and you see that it's really life, University of Life. We are lucky. We are lucky. You are lucky that you have material which changes you from inside. Because what is faith? We came to church and we started to believe in God, and God forgave our sins. But then Bible says that we have to change by changing our brain, our mind. When I tell some religious people about books, I tell them the phrase, how will you tear your old man from your life, from your flesh? They can make this as a thesis, but they cannot explain how to do it. So, to tear off your old man from your life, from your heart, there are different algorithm in pastor's book how to do it, in one direction, in the other direction, and every book has methods on how to change your life completely. So you're very lucky to have come to a church of spirit, a church which has a lot of materials on how to change your life. Let's applaud. Thank you very much. My name is Svetlana, and I would like to comment this book. Yesterday I finished reading this book, being tested by Access. It has turned my world upside down. It means when you want to pass circumstances and win in your life, you have to honor a person. Of course, I can like a person, I can still have my opinion about his advice, but when you honor a person, so what is important is so actually it's a discussion about our sister's revelation. So if you want to win in your life, you have to respect a person independent of your own opinion. So if you respect someone, then you pay a price. You don't think about your feelings. You just simply love this person, adore this person. Pastor raises a lot of topics. For example, water. We have got used to water. We notice only when, for example, we don't have hot water and it's not comfortable. Then we understand the way we respect water in our life. Pastors mentioned one interesting example when he came to Ukraine, for example, and he saw that there was water. It was running in the toilet, in the restroom, and people who have only 3.5 liters of water per family in Africa, and this water is enough only to drink, even not enough. So they don't think about washing, about toilet, and he saw water in the toilets, he was shocked. So one more thing that caught my attention, why we have a lot of divorces in our families, because we have access to a real person in real life. That's why some people fail. You see a human being, not the person that you had seen like an angel. So love passes away very quickly when you see a person, as a human being. So independent of independent of what you see in real life, when you respect a person, you can respect your family and you can save your family. One more thing about our politics, our authorities, that we have to respect our people in power, because, for example, one politician There was a comment about the time where it was said, but Svetlana says that she's very thankful to our pastor for this book, that she's amazed by the book, and it is really great. Pastor says you are the only one who has read the book. And Svetlana answers that when I saw this book, I understood that I just need it. I simply need it because I have a lot of access in my life to many people, to many things, and now I understand that I simply need to understand what I have in my life in order not to lose it. Thank you very much, Pastor. I have also read the book called Reaction, and now I have started Emotions. So thank you very much. Hello, our Russian guests, Russian brothers and sisters, and Russian and Switzerland. Welcome. So one more thing. Is it 3 months? Is it fast? Fast. The pastor means that there is a law that you can be in one country, like if you are from Russia, then you can be in Ukraine for 3 months and then leave and then come back. So Bible says don't deeply respect each other. We are one family. And in order not to fail, because it's not only the pastor who talks to you, we talk to our brothers, we talk to our sisters, leaders, and everyone has their own minuses. And the Old Testament says that you mustn't open the naked places which your brothers and sisters have. And in this case, in Ukraine, typical cultural respect is if you don't drink with me, you don't respect me. That is the level of respect. And in this case, a lot of people get caught by this respect, means drink with me, or of course we are talking about our mentality. So pastor asks if you drink, you harm your health. The question is, when you drink, then you perceive the society from a different point of view. With this kind of respect, we come to church, but the church tells us that it's not about simply respect, like drink with me. It's deep respect. It's deep respect with this law of differences. So you have to love your brother, your sister as yourself, but we don't know even how to love ourselves. At least let's start with the level respect anyone as ourselves. So it's correct. If you don't respect, if you don't honor people, then you will fail this examination by excess. But if you respect, if you honor the teacher, the leader, with parents, simply with your husband or wife at church, especially with the people who teach us, this condition of respecting everyone will help you to go through this testing by excess successfully. So scan yourself, your reaction, your attitude to the people, like leaders or neighbors or your boss at work. So knowledge, as Einstein said, when you have experience, then you have knowledge. Without experience, it's just information. So you can talk a lot, but it can become knowledge when it has some experience, base of experience. This is what I want to mention. When I read my pastor's books and I work on myself, I work on the weak parts which I have, then I have experience and then it works in my life. Thank you very much. Let's applaud and hello. In addition, I want to say there is a saying, like proverb in China. Once tigers couldn't hunt, couldn't get food, and they found a kitten, a very intelligent kitten, and they asked to teach them everything. And at one moment, the tigers thought, the kitten had taught us everything, and it's okay, it's enough, let's eat the kitten. So they started to chase the kitten, and the kitten jumped onto the top of the tree and disappeared in a different forest. And the tiger said, oh, he hadn't taught us climb onto the trees. So what they mean by this proverb, don't start anything against your teacher, because you never know what the teacher hasn't taught you. What the teacher hasn't taught you yet. Okay, let me tell you something about the access. Let's start with page. If you don't have the book, you can ask. Page 228. I would like us to look at the example of Jesus. (227), page 227. The book is being tested by access. What was Jesus' reaction to the Father's naked? You might be surprised by this example, because Jesus had a perfect Heavenly Father, and of course Jesus shouldn't have had any problems with his reaction to the real Father, physical Father, before he started to be called the Son of Heavenly Father. He was a son of real fathers, physical fathers, and which each of them had their own naked places. So Father was born from Maria, and he had a stepfather, Joseph, and he was brought up in a real family, earthly, real family, and Joseph was a normal man. He had his good sides, bad sides, positive, negative. From the very first moments of his earthly life, Jesus, of course, could see some simple human being reactions to himself, to his mother, because Joseph was a normal person. It was not a perfect God's father, God, but a typical physical father. What I see is Jesus is a son of David. Pastor Sunday is joking that she knows everything because she has read the book. So anyway, Jesus respected the son of David, and David was a real man, a human being, a typical representative of not perfect people. So David was like me. So David was like every one of us. And we can see that when Jesus calls him Father, he understands that David was not perfect. Let's go on reading. During my thinking over this topic, I want to ask you to make parallels about your reaction, your attitude to your physical parents, to your leaders, to your spiritual fathers, the people who have been working with you, because now you have to have different things, not only earthly parentship, but you have to have your leaders as fathers. So when you look at them, you have to understand that you see physical people, like real people who have their weak sides. It could be a man or a woman. Can you answer the question, who is your spiritual father? It should be the person who can, it should be a person you could closely speak often. So it's not somebody, for example, like Kenneth Copeland, whom you see on TV and you don't know him personally. So it should be someone who you can communicate closely, so you could be corrected, you could be led by him. I am a senior pastor of the whole movement, and there are a lot of daughter churches. So some people don't want to have any relationships with their pastors and call only me the father. It means this person goes to someone's church but doesn't want to obey his pastor and leaders in that church. So if we need physical presence of the father to have a baby, in this case, physically you need pastor, physically correcting in your life and managing some things with you so that you become successful and you release your potential in this life. Every person reflects someone's glory, and this is the glory of your Father. For example, young people, especially girls, beautiful girls, slim girls, every time I ask, where are you from? Where did you get that beauty from? It's not that you went to the shop and bought your beauty and food from someone. You actually have it from your parents. You were born this way. You were born beautiful, and this is the glory of your Father. You got something from your Father. having access to such a person, that you actually, by being next to a great person, you can see different things, negative sides of physical parents. Jesus saw it. Jesus saw everyone and his fathers, as we call it. Okay, Joseph, okay, David. Why did they put David in this story? It could be Abraham, it could be Isaac, anyone. Why David? Moses. They took the son of David. Solomon also was a king, and he could look at David and say that unlike David, at least I am okay. Or I have come to correct David's sins. Even to Jesus, everyone called physically the son of David. So he actually had this glory of being the son of David. It was everything positive and negative. Everything that was connected with David, it is one of the greatest examples. That's why I wrote about that in this book, because a lot of people, while your father is okay, he doesn't drink, they are proud of their father. We have good relationships, but when your father started drinking, you're not my father. That's what they say. Or when the father was working and bringing money home, oh, daddy, daddy. But when he is fired, he has no money. Maybe he has got old. Then there is no reason to respect him. Some children ask, what can you teach me? Look at yourself. But the son of David, actually he was proud of being the son of David. He was carrying that. He accepted this name, Jesus, the son of David. So, in our case, we wouldn't accept David in our history. Let it be the Son of God immediately. Why do I need this David? This David is who? God is okay. It's more serious. Peter said only. Peter asked him once what people understand, what people say about Jesus, and Jesus asked him not to tell anyone about the things that he was the Son of God. So Jesus was carrying the name of David with respect. He was proud of being the son of David. And I know that now somebody is trying to remember the fathers, parents, maybe teachers, leaders, who rejected them from life situations. But actually you can't forget where you are from. Jesus didn't even argue. The thing was, if it was his relative, his father, he accepted that. For example, Jesus was the son of David. David, who was a killer and he slept with women, he was killer. There was what there was. That was a naked part of David's life, and somebody could turn their faces from David. Because in Soviet Union we had our biographies, characteristics, references, and if there was mentioned that your relative or father was the enemy of the nation, the son of dissidents, then you are the enemy yourself. So people rejected from their generations, from their fathers, from like actually they had they were signing documents, for example, that the physical father wasn't their father. That the moment there was a moment in our history when people officially rejected or refused from real fathers and accepted party as a mother and a father, because if you didn't do it, you would never get a job. For example, in Israel, nation says that we are the children of Abraham or Moses. So we are the followers of Moses or Abraham. And even in Israel history, they asked whose son or where's this person. So it was a price, the price of being somebody. I see it for the future. One day I will leave Ukraine, and interesting what people will say, that I am the son of David, or somebody will mention, no, I was just passing by. So actually, it's interesting about the reaction of people when pastor leaves Ukraine, what people will think about that church. It will be different registration, different church. Maybe. They will have their own movement. That is what is interesting. Okay, when it is somewhere close. But when there is nobody that you have by your side, like controlling, then they can easily say that I don't know that African. I am Ukrainian and I have my own church. This is what we are reading now, but I can foresee it. Even when I was dictating this book, I could predict the future. When somebody will, when somebody in 2005, the church was the biggest, the church was the coolest, the church was the biggest revelation for the whole world and Ukraine. The church was spoken about all over the world, and we were sitting, we were walking, and of course we were boasting, we are from the God's embassy. Everybody ran away, and everybody started to actually call the names of daughters church in order not to mention Pastor Sunday. So a lot of people refused from Pastor Sunday's name, and the pastor is surprised. So yes, and if you say that you are from the God's embassy, then you have a problem. And I remember it has always been, so they called the pastors of daughter churches in order not to connect themselves with God's embassy. Pastor, not they, we did it, we called. So for me, it has always been kind of boldness to say that I am from God's embassy, and sometimes I myself had to mention that I'm not from God's embassy, but from somebody else, like from a daughter's church. So today we can answer that we are from God's embassy. So you had to control, because there were different situations, and sometimes people even couldn't mention church embassy of God, because you had to start fighting. Because after declaring that you belong to this church, you could have lost your friend or partners. My wife and I, one time I remember, my wife and I had to fight and prove and tell them about our pastor, that our pastor is different. Our pastor is different and good. So, for example, I have a friend who has recently come. Who has recently come, and when I tell him that my father is Pastor Sunday, it's kind of a provoking situation. So when you tell my friend that my father is Pastor Sunday, it's kind of kamikaze, or like, you can have a problem. So how many people left church, and how many people some people even use abbreviation of Embassy of God, like Embassy of God, like EG. In Russian, it's called PB. Pastor, I don't want to leave church. I'm in my past a drug user and a criminal, and I can say that I'm here, I belong here. I'm from Kramatorsk. I was nobody. I was a criminal without a family. And what I am now, I have a business. I have a good family. I have learned from you, Pastor Sunday. We have adopted a daughter. This is what I got from my church, from you, from wisdom and everything. So I am proud to announce everyone who can see me even online. I am from the Embassy of God. This is my father, Pastor Sunday. So somebody, pastor is joking that you can say that because you are there and you are guarded. No. Yeah, we could. Okay. So what did you understand about Jesus? Pastor Sunday asks our sister, and she says, I was sitting during the election campaign in Gostomel, one of the towns next to Kiev. It's about relationships with the pastor, because you are close to him, you are here in Irpin, and it's kind of reason for for arguing with you. There were newspapers in that town with the photos of the pastor and the guys who were elected. Can you show us that newspaper, please? It was Facebook, it was my picture with Pastor Sunday. You can see there is a picture. So these pictures were to it was Pastor Sunday comments. It was very expensive. So there are some bad articles and bad things about Pastor and about our sister Mary. So when my relationships with Pastor Sunday are the only reason to lower.
Все политиков, все, кто баллотируется из этой партии, имея всунули вместе с ними.
Okay, so Pastor comments that they took all the politicians and put me with this photo. So a lot of pastors who were going through elections on Facebook with Pastor, so they say that people from Sunday Adelaja are taking power in Ukraine because it is very bad for Ukraine. And what can you do? You will tell that you don't know this person and you're just somehow near the church, or will you be proud of being a part of or a member of this church? Around 1,000 newspapers were printed. So you choose in every situation. Will you choose it, or will you be running away from the name of Pastor Sunday, or will you be proud to know such a person? There was a moment when we were walking around and talking to the people who were going to take part in elections. There was one priest, an Orthodox priest, and they saw us and asked to show the documents, election papers, and suddenly, I don't know how it happened, he started to talk about you, Pastor. Of course, he started to talk with the words I wouldn't repeat. There were several options, several things like that you are the cover of the politician and that you pay him, and it was something really. Pastor Sunday is joking, of course, and maybe I pay the president or what? That I pay Poroshenko's salary. It's a joke, of course. It's not somewhere. It's in Ukraine. It's our life. I have the same position. What is the myth? How can you think that I can buy everything here? Can buy parties. How can you think that I control it? Because Vita is from Poroshenko party, and they think that I'm there as well. Of course, yes, it shows that they are afraid and they understand this power and influence, but anyway, that's it. What I'm happy about is that today I cannot tell you about the percent, but there are sober people who appear, and they say that we don't know this person, and we cannot say anything good or bad about this person. They know and understand that television has a lot of lie, and I think it's normal, adequate position when you don't judge. It's better, or at least to come and meet this person, switch on your brain and think, because you have a blessing in this. But if you make your opinion basing on TV, it's simply nonsense. I believe that time will come when Pastor Sunday will be accepted in Ukraine and recognized, and there will be a lot of people who will present their father in Ukraine. So there will be time. Oh, what a person we had amongst us, but we rejected being his sons. It was not bad. It was not good. So today we have a choice. There is nothing to be ashamed of. I always tell that I know this person personally. So give facts, don't give emotions. So the glory of my father, the glory of the father that Jesus was carrying, and yes, Pastor, I understood, I saw it. It's just a wonderful example, because Jesus had a lot of opportunities. A lot of opportunities to refuse from being David's relative. Why choose him? Why not buy somebody with a better reputation, better references? But Jesus wanted to say that in the word that even talking about your physical father, Jesus could have a lot of opportunities to find bad, let's say something bad about his physical father, but he didn't want to do it. And we are not Jesus. We are not without a sin, and we talk about people who gave you life, who brought you up, who gave you destiny, who invested their hard time into your life. And if you refuse from being a relative, it's kind of, you have to realize that. Pastor Sunday asks if we can change that in Ukraine. Is there a chance to change, at least to change it in the field of a family? Can we one day pass this examination, or unfortunately no? There is a saying, the best teacher is experience. It is expensive, but very well explained. So a lot of people will make conclusions by going through their own pains, mistakes. A lot of people are ignorant. They don't want to study on some other people's mistakes. And in this case, we see that a generation is being formed, and this generation is transformed by different values. So our goal is to multiply it and spread it all over. Zhenya asked me, some people write questions if we are going to have the topic, and our brother says it's not me, our people. Pastor is joking. Because we have to turn to our topic. Today's topic is, why do we ask again? Why do we ask again? Why do we repeat our question? Maybe you don't understand the topic. Okay, why do we repeat our or let's say it's better to explain it. Why do we ask again? If somebody tells us something, there is a tendency, Pastor Sunday says, that, for example, whatever it is, especially if it is in front of or working with people where you have to be responsible for your actions, it's when you respect a person or when you are, it's not for parents and so on, it doesn't really matter for somebody. But really, when you have to do something serious, you hear something, and then it seems like you haven't heard. So you repeat when, for example, when you ask me, where are you from? You ask me again, do you ask where I am from? And you repeat this question again and again. So why do we ask again? What is the sense to ask again if you've heard and the person says, I haven't heard you? And pastor says, I don't understand why people say that I didn't hear well. How can that be? If you just repeated my question, you tell me that you haven't heard well, like, how can it be? So you repeated my question, you didn't hear it and repeated it exactly. This is kind of, we don't realize, even listening to me right now, you think that this is not about me, it's not my problem, I am not like that. But in real, if you analyze, you will see that we are all like that, and that we do it so often. People who work with me, I catch them at that point very often, because it seems like, okay, what is the topic? Okay, ask again, what's the problem? And we think it is not serious or nothing, there is no problem. If I ask again, I don't want to make a mistake, okay, that's why I ask. So you heard, it's not about mistake. Why do you repeat it? I want to make sure, I want to clarify. If you want to clarify, don't repeat. Ask other questions if you want to clarify. You can ask additional questions like the city or the street. So make sure. Yes, there are such things. And I think it's, for example, a question, where are you from? And sister says that, for example, if a person wants to lie, he takes some time to generate a decent answer. So we ask again to take time and come up with a serious reason. And we answer very slowly that I come from. So, when you ask a question, when you want to clarify, during that time you simply prepare yourself for the answer. So, just simply a line. Okay, can you agree that this thing exists? Very often, especially when you are at militia office, police office, then you ask this question again. A lot of people have visited militia, especially I've been there, and I know. Have you often been there? Pastor asks, and the brother answers, yes. Very often I been to the police. I have been to prison 3 times. And he said that while the court was on, he asked again because he had to come up with some ideas from some questions. And he says, he says that you might be in the situation when you don't know the date, but you ask again simply to take your time. Let's applaud, it's a cool answer. Anybody else knows about this topic? Why do we always ask again or often ask again? There is an opinion if a woman so if a woman gives a chance to a man to say again, she asks again, then it means she gives the man a chance to correct his first answer and give the right answer. Have you learned anything? Pastor Sunday asks our brother. At least this is woman's wisdom. So you have a chance to correct your first answer very fast and say it properly. Properly is the way she wants it to be answered. Okay, sisters, help me. Let's do it. When it's, for example, when you ask your wife, maybe this suit is not beautiful, and your wife says, what? And you just change your answer. Yes, no, it's not that bad. Have you thought well when you said that? So they are joking about the situation when women want to get whatever they want to get, and no matter about the man's opinion. So there are jokes going on about the difference between men and women psychology. Because, for example, talking about the topic of the suit, she has already completed the picture, the shadows, the lipstick, and everything. And when you want to change your suit, in order not to change anything, the woman asks again. So they're going on with the jokes about that suit, and it's really funny, but to tell the truth, it's kind of especially our woman's thing when a man makes some kind of remarks about our appearance, the woman can be upset, and in this case, let's return to the point. Back to the point, like, do we ask again? Why? It's not about asking questions, but, for example, if you are said something, why do you ask the same thing again? Why do you repeat the sentence? Why do you take your time? Well, like, it's deeper. First, it's lying. Like, so we are cheating, we are deceiving, so we want to get our point, we want to answer the way we want. So it's a sign of unhealthy personality, because this is a sign that you are cunning, that you are trying to cheat, you are trying to you take your time to come up with a better question or better answer, because Bible says that where there is light, there is no dark. And the problem is that it's everywhere. Everybody does it. It's like the second nature. So if we are talking about it being spread or common in our society, it means that we live in some kind of deceiving. And I remember when I was in the orphanage house, we called it lie, but we call it like lying to get away from a problem. So why are you late, for example? Why am I late? Am I late? So because somebody is sick, and so the main idea is that we ask again to take our time to lie. Thanks to asking again, we put dark in this dialogue. When there is light, when there is truth, you just answer and that's it. And one more thing, it's because we cannot listen. We don't know how to listen properly. Good evening. I've been thinking about this problem, and I want to say yes. We do have this problem because being a teacher, I face it everywhere, and myself, I do the same. So when Pastor asked us, he said that he doesn't repeat twice. For example, when we visited his home cell, we are talking about 5-star people. They will not repeat. 5-star people, they don't repeat. They tell you one time, and if you ask again, you lose 50% of something. Third time, you lose your job. So with this asking again, it means you are not serious. You are like, somebody who doesn't think. You're light. You're you're not serious. This is nature. So, talking about myself, why I do it, okay, there is a joke going on about standing, just joking about the attitude to our sister. It's really cool and good, respectful. So, why I asked again? Because I didn't concentrate. I was thinking about something else. I was abstract, and I didn't hear well. So I lack of deep thinking. That's one of the reasons. And when I meet my students, it's awful. It's awful to repeat again and again. I don't like it. It means your people weren't with you. You spent your time, you waste your time actually. And then I tell them, okay, let's write down because you weren't with us. So I think one of the reasons, first, we cannot concentrate, and second, we cannot be here and now. So what do you think as for the nation, as for society? Is that true that it's not healthy? Not healthy society. Yes, I agree. It's our society disease. It's like they are like biomass. So these people will switch off their brain. They will. There are different. There are different things about sayings. So when you don't think, when you are not a personality, then you are this way. So the person is more effective when the person has a goal. The person doesn't distract by anything. So this is the way personality is. So if you are a weak personality, then in this case you simply cannot concentrate, and that's why you ask again. Why we ask again? I would like to tell you that it's my topic. It used to be my topic. It's not that way now, but Pastor accentuated this problem, and he accentuated that he wouldn't repeat twice. But I remember there are such things at schools. Maybe somebody remembers. I remember that there is a control work. Everybody is sitting and asking, and the teacher is answering. It's kind of, for some period of time, there were very few people who mentioned telling it already and without a chance to repeat it again. So it's like you give yourself a chance to be mistaken. For example, your Pastor Sunday told me what to do, and I thought in my inside that I want to ask again to make it sure, to make it clear, to understand that I got it right. So a lot of such things we have at schools. During control work, you have the same questions from students or pupils again and again, and the teachers repeat. They repeat, and you have it in your head that it's okay, there is no problem to ask again. So you don't even think that you show by asking again that you haven't been here. So I think it has roots at school when we were allowed to ask again many times. Wait a second, I have to say that, are we talking about clarifying or asking again? We have to divide these two things. When you ask again, it's one thing, but when you clarify, it's your desire to understand, to perform this task well. And the basic desire is to be liked by your boss or by someone who gives you this task. But when we are clarifying, it's good. When we are lying, it's bad. So, additional questions. My name is Ksenia. Okay, there is a technology of selling. Its paraphrase is to repeat the phrase said by your opponent, because psychologists say that it's pleasant to hear that somebody who he is talking to repeats this phrase. It means you were listening. So Julie was right. When you clarify it, you give additional questions. You give specified questions, detailed questions. That means clarify. Paraphrase, it's different. Clarifying, it's given other facts. It's interesting. It's very interesting to have like a dialogue with such a person. I see that the person is on the same page with me, and he is interested, that it's interesting, and that he enjoys it. And teachers like such people, and the boss likes such people, because they understand that the person is on the same page and he's listening to me. But when it's simply asking again the same thing which he has heard, and he asks to prolong the time before the answer, because it's very often.
Здравствуйте.
Hello,
Я работаю в строительном бизнесе,
I'm in
и
construction
мы часто
business,
используем вот такой вот
and we
прием.
use this technique of asking again
Я сейчас
very
объясню,
often.
неправильно поняли.
Let me explain.
Нет, мы намеренно.
We
Вот
do
мы
it
не
on
знаем
purpose.
клиента, да?
We
То
don't
есть,
know
что
the
это за человек.
client,
И мы
we
намеренно
don't know,
вот
and
какие-то
we
вопросы
ask
переспрашиваем, чтобы
stupid
намеренно
questions or asking
выявить,
again
насколько
to
человек,
see
он
the
уравновешенный,
level
спокойный,
of
то есть терпеливый, скажем так. То есть, если
patience
человек начинает
of this
раздражаться в глупых
person.
вопросах,
So
то мы
if
с
the
ним
person starts
не
to
работаем
get
дальше. То есть мы намеренно
irritated because of stupid questions, we don't work. Pastor Sunday jokes that if a person starts asking stupid questions, I don't work with him anymore. I agree with the pastor, but my method works 100%, because by asking stupid questions, we see that people, without even knowing you, they get irritated, and you understand that in work this person will be difficult to work with, to cooperate with. I wanted to ask that speaker and teachers, they are waiting for additional questions. But usually there are not additional questions, it's paraphrasing. Paraphrasing is when you paraphrase, it's when you repeat the, no. Paraphrase is to repeat the main idea but with different words. This means paraphrase. It's when you use your own words, your own understanding, and it's good. It's not bad, because I'm with you, I understood you right. With my own words, with different words, I repeat the same, and this is what gives pleasure to any teacher's heart, because the opponent understands that he is talking to a person who thought over, who like
Парафраз это другое. Парафраз это повторять.
okay, wait a second. There is a difference in explaining paraphrase. Paraphrase.
Не тот парафраз. Да. Парафраз. Вставайте.
We are googling the. It's retelling the text with your own words. So Pastor Sunday was right.
Она правильно нашла словарь.
She found right words.
Парафразом называются
Paraphrase is
разные ветки переработки текста. В частности, литературного произведения.
so it's working on the text. It's short explaining of a long text, or longer explanation in a simple way of difficult text. So actually, the meaning of paraphrase in Russian is the same as in English. It's to rephrase someone's words, someone's sentence. So
Ну вы, может быть, вы
everyone who teaches you, they may make mistakes. But why I can tell you that it's correct? First of all, I'm 50. At least I have faced such people, such phrases. Second, it's not a Russian word, it's from Latin and English, and I have used this word from my childhood. So in this case, listen, it's the same as you say, well, your name is not Sunday. or someone comes and says that, for example, a table is not a table is something different, it's a chair. So for Russian people, Russian-speaking people or thinking people, you can mix it because, or confuse, because it's not a Russian word, but dictionaries cannot mix it up. So
Парафразом называется, в частности, особый учебный тип комментария к теоретическому тексту, который представляет собой близкое к тексту изложение.
So, paraphrase again, close to the original retelling the sense of the text or something. They're still discussing this paraphrase, and Brother Eugene agreed. So why we ask again? Why we ask again so often? There are different factors, not because the person is not concentrated here and now, but why else? What are the reasons for that? I've just thought that you do it to make a person who said that explain what he or she means. So I can ask. So when I ask again,
Получается, я ожидаю, чтобы вы сами объяснили, что вы имели в виду в этом вопросе.
Okay, so thank you very much. That is the thing. So when you ask again, there are different reasons. You either want to clarify or you want to make the person who asked explain. So this is either lying or is not concentrated. The person is not concentrated. There are different factors, but when he wants to make sure what the opponent is asking about, what exactly he wants to know, this is a good question because it's like a thinking person. One more thing is when you don't know how to answer. You cannot say that you don't know. Good job, good job. What's your name? And Pastor Sandy compliments our brothers that it's good. It's like, I see that you have experience. You're not a novice, so you understand some things in life. Okay, go on. So when you are afraid to show that you are stupid, that you don't know something, you ask again to hide your ignorance in certain moments, in certain fields. But when the person tells you that you've heard, why do you say that, oh, I haven't heard? It's lie. It's lie. Okay, so I'm trying to remember these examples. Very often this question will be the answer. So the person will ask again and will not answer this question ever. This technology is used to change that topic cardinally. For example, when you ask a person where did you come from, the person asks again and again to lead away from the central idea of the conversation. So the question will understand. The person who asks will understand that this person who he is talking to really doesn't want to talk. So it's trying to avoid answering the question. Pastor Sandy asks, try to answer. Why is it bad for our society? Why is it bad for developing of our country? Of course, it's bad, the nation is relaxed. The nation is not concentrated, not responsible. The nation doesn't want to work with the brain. The nation is off, is switched off from every aspect of life. So nothing is going on. Nothing is going on. Like, we don't live when we are off. The person lives only when the brain is on. So it means the whole nation is off. So we do things automatically. It means that we act only like robots. We don't produce anything. We don't produce anything new. We don't give birth to creative thoughts. It's like animals. Animals like a cow, it goes, eats, goes, and lives this way. The same, but we have two legs. And this is the problem when the country struggles. That's why we have disagreements. That's why we have bad relationships. Because you ask again, and I see that you are somewhere, because wives sometimes struggle from that. When she asks, she wants her husband to be with her, to be on the same page, to be sure that he listens to her, and that is kind of proof of love. This is why we have lack of peace in our families. It's kind of the whole problem. The problem is that when at work, at a factory, at a plant, a person works in this condition, the quality of work, the quality of product struggles. So actually you have losses, you lose time, you lose life. I can give you a lot of examples. It's a catastrophe. It's just bad when you go and ask again. It means that we are not competitive anywhere in this condition. So when a person asks again, because he or she doesn't know the answer, so actually this avoiding answering means he or she, these people don't want to know. That's why they are lying. That's why they are sneaking away from answering. It's not sneaking away from responsibility, but from punishment, from shame, from this feeling of confused, from embarrassment. So I want to keep my good face. So it's not fighting for the truth, but to impress somebody. So it means you have the country with the society which lies, the society which builds everything on lie and to cover, to hide bad result, not to correct, but can you imagine? For example, have you ever hired people to rebuild your house, to build your house, to construct your house? I can see it, like, for example, I see that in my home, like what I see every day, this is the work. I see that everything is falling apart in my place. So what we do it to just to make it faster and get rid of the problem. Okay, just quickly finish and make a view of finished work. This is the problem. This is the problem, and it starts when you ask again. It means that you don't like the truth. It means that you're trying to like. That's why the country is in poverty. That's why we have bad work, bad quality of products, bad quality of techniques, equipment, food. So the production will struggle there will not be enough of everything, and people will start stealing, lying to get what they need or to what they earned with their labor. So it's non-stop circle. So there are no details, no small things, no minor things. I'm shocked, and nobody raises these questions. There should be talk shows, there should be programs, TV programs with such topics. What topics are we talking about? They're discussing somebody noses, somebody's strange things, like stupid things discussing, but
Дело в том, что если люди коровы, значит, что мы только будем готовить для коров, да?
Я знаю, они как бы поднимают те темы, которые будут как бы актуальны, а эти темы
so
не каждый будет.
they are talking about the topics which will be famous, actual, demanded. And pastor says that, okay, we want to hear that somebody rapes children. It's the only thing we want to talk about. But if the people in our country heard
Убивать друг друга.
Вот Шустер
Значит,
Лайв, да?
эту передачу теперь
Шустер
буду
Лайв,
делать.
они
То есть мы же не будем делать, опускать
we
на
won't
уровне. А если еще
lower our level, we will speak about something which is interesting for a lot of people.
Содержание ценностей.
There is no contain of values in this program. So it's just, you know, the program shows or discusses the things which are valuable for them. People want to talk about something serious. People want something pure. People want to watch old films. They got tired of violence, killing, and people want to watch black and white movies because those movies, old movies, had some kind of value, at least.
Донбасса, да?
For example, in Donbass, people want to join Russia, or they want to have their own region or territory. Okay, so let's talk about it. Let's make a program with this political content, and they discuss that they want. They don't show, they just do it, for example. They don't talk about it. They actually...
Нет, пусть не уходят в Россию и так далее. Значит, и здесь могут делать то, что да, просто не делают.
Так легче. Это так
It's
самое.
easier.
Это
It's
то не надо
easier
думать, это не надо думать.
without thinking, without struggles. You just take whatever is very famous and popular and just discuss it. Okay, but what
Есть у меня уточнение одно. Я думаю, что если действительно
I have one
человек
clarifying factor.
и скажет, слушай,
I think
извини, я
when
не
a
услышал тебя, и
person
скажет причину,
really
почему я тебя не
wants
услышал. Если ты
to
действительно где-то
ask
прочитал,
again and
то
it's
это, я думаю,
serious,
признак здорового
then
диалога и здорового
a
диалога.
healthy
Извини, я не
personality
услышал,
will
я думал,
apologize,
или там было
give
много,
a
или ты
reason
сказал,
for not
или я
listening
тебе
to
неправильно
you,
послал.
or, for example, at least
Это имел в виду.
confesses of problems which he or she was experiencing for asking you again. That is healthy. That is normal. But what is not healthy, it's when you simply ask again. It's not respect. It's simply like a part of,
Способ съехать.
it's a kind of a way to sneak away.
Это как такой
Sneak,
комфорта своего.
it's a zone of comfort where you are allowed to do everything, where you can hide. It's kind of a trick which is used, and many people have a lot of templates for such things, for such situations, and use them.
Уточнение. А вам-то не надо, но народу.
Спасибо. Даже иностранцы, вот
Even
филологи
foreign
подтвердят,
people,
кто с иностранцами
people
разговаривает,
who
они же не
speak with
переспрашивают. Если они не услышали, они
people
просто
abroad,
excuse me или там pardon, просто извините. И это уже знак тому, что человек не услышал. Просто извините.
foreigners,
И он
for
ждет,
example,
когда ему
don't
вопрос
ask again.
повторят. А
Usually
такого
they
факта,
say,
как
excuse me
повторить
or
вопрос,
pardon.
даже и
They
нет.
don't repeat the question. They simply make you understand that you didn't understand. So when you ask again and again, for example, the same question, where are you from, where are you from, where did you come from, or something like that.
Джона Музамова знаете, да? Как-то я с ним не
You
думаю,
know
что
John
тоже что-то,
Moose,
я не
and
расслышала
one
такая,
time I was
вот,
going
он на меня смотрит.
from church, and
Алена, что это ты такое говоришь? Как это? Что, как ты так можешь некультурно со мной общаться? Ты что? Я сразу
she
даже
was
не поняла,
talking
с чего
to a foreigner brother, and she asked him again, what? And our brother was shocked with this question, hearing this question with surprise, like, how can you ask me again? For example, if I'm a man, I want to get married. I'm not, for example, in my church recently, I noticed that young guys, they are 32, 30, 35, 37, they go and married very young girls, 18, 20, and so on. That's why I put some limits, like 21, not younger. And I asked them, like, there are many girls, many young men, and I gathered them and asked, there are people like, there are girls 25, 26, 27, you are 35. It's not old, it's not an old girl who 27, and how can you call her old? Oh, here is one of them. I apologize, I didn't catch the idea, but I think the man, he said, yeah, good job. He said exactly what the guys told me. They told me, it's not old physically. She has her own opinion. She has her own rules. She has her own regulations. 25, 26. They brothers call these sisters old because they cannot change her. They tell me, we take a girl who is 18 because it's not late, because we can condition her mentality or brain. This is the most serious topic I am discussing with our Ukrainian men. Okay, how do you know? How do you know that 27 she has already her own rules? Is it common? My father told me the same. He told me to take a young wife. He taught me to choose a young wife, 10 years difference younger, because you can teach her, you can tell her what to do. My wife is the same age, but it's by chance. Pastor Sandy is joking, but okay, except for the father. Have you heard anywhere talking about that? Yes, of course. I meet people who don't know your father, and they say the same things. It's common in society. It's like generation and generation and generation. All the fathers are the same. Somebody taught his father and so on. And they had experience. So this is society. It's common in society. It's common that if, and I'm very, very sorry, because I know these 25-year-old ladies, 26, 22, 23, 25, 26, it's kind of an old girl, and 30, no, it's too old, you cannot change her. And I know, I don't know, how can you believe that? Because I know that 25, 26, 30, this person is just right to get married. And they tell me, no, she will start to argue, she will have her own opinion, you will not tell her anything. But the 18-year-old wife will argue more. And when she is 25, she will wake up and she will tell you everything she had missed. So, before marriage. So, society which doesn't want to work, the society which lives to sneak away, get out of the problem, and so on. This society is looking for easy ways, cheap options. So one of the options is to take a wife who is young and not experienced. It will be, you will see that this wife will rebel. Yes, Pastor. If a person comes to church and gets married to a young girl, so the person who thinks that he can change a person, then Jesus cannot change her. The girl has changed by Jesus, and here we become higher than God because we want to change people. We don't trust God's changes. Okay, Pastor Sandy says that it was very interesting for me. So it's common? Is it really common? And the girls know that? That men think this way. That men want to take a young wife and they will reconstruct or condition her behavior. Maybe girls have their own movies, but girls who are 27, they understand that very well. Because girls also think that I will change him, I will correct him, and so on. And men want to correct girls, and so two constructors are getting married. Everyone wants to change each other. So, of course, this is easy ways. People live automatically. They don't want to pay price. They don't want to do real things. What you have to do, as you have to do it. They want to. They don't want to pay price and have to get cheap. So, some men say that they have to get her while she is white and not spoiled. So it's kind of society opinion. So why do we ask again? What it tells us, it's responsibility. We ask again because we don't want to take responsibility. We want to forward this responsibility to somebody else. And if there is a person who tries to ask again, who tries to lie, who tries to sneak away from the answer, this society will lack responsibility. This society will be late for work, will try to justify his or her own faults, why they don't want to do it, why they didn't manage, why they didn't want to do something for you. It will be very difficult to find a good worker. It will be very difficult because your people will fail and people will set you up, and then they will come later and tell you that they heard it differently because you repeated, but you repeated the question, but they understood it from their point of view, and it was different. So they will come and make you guilty. So actually, what I'm leading to, talking about the boss or the director, why these people fire such people because I order to do something, and then I'm worried. I'm worried if this person understood me correctly and he or she will do what I want. That's why there is no trust. And then you call and ask, are you doing it? Are you doing what I asked you to do? Whew. And you understand that you are under stress simply because of these things. So you lose your time, you lose your team unity, you lose things, and people say that a good worker knows beforehand, before you ask. So it's regress. It's regress because of such things. You already say something and he doesn't hear you. So in this case it's just opposite. You lose communications. We don't listen. We're not listening. You are listening, kind of listening. You even nod your head, and then you stop. When you stop and ask what? So you actually, the person is making a look of listening, but
А по поводу чего? Не, мы тут с тобой просто полчаса сидим так ни о чем. Да, ни о чем.
So you can spend like 30 minutes and the person can nod and make a look that he or she are listening to you, but in general they don't listen. Watch your listening, the Bible says. So even if you are sad and you don't listen or don't hear, it's very bad. It's so bad that you are unable to pass it to someone either. And one more thing, we don't know how to communicate. We cannot communicate because we don't respect our opponent and we don't listen to these guys. If I'm talking to a person and the person doesn't listen to me, I don't talk to such people. What is the sense of talking to such people if such people simply don't listen to you? They don't listen to what you are saying. So there are different people, different ways of communication, but it's hard to communicate when the person is not listening to you. The person doesn't want to be with you on the same page, because all the relationships in the society are based on dialects in the family, dialects in the power, dialects in politics, dialects everywhere. So if there is no connection, then you shouldn't talk. You cannot talk normally because you doubt, because you don't trust, because the person asks again and you think that he or she, they are lying to you. So with this type of listening, and you have this in your team, it's simply a problem for work. If there is a question for 5 people, you take time of 5 people. They take this time, for example, even here. Repeat, because you were here. I don't have to repeat the question if you are here and you don't listen. So you are somewhere in clouds, maybe you are eating somewhere or whatever. I think very often people cannot even talk without vodka because there is nothing to talk. So when there are people and they get together, the vodka helps to communicate. It's kind of okay. Pastor Sandy asks again. Now let us imagine that the society and people in general are here and now. They hear you from the first time, they think deeper, they ask additional questions, clarifying, they paraphrase your idea, and people are here. What kind of society will that be? Let's make characteristic. It's effective, healthy, quality, competitive, let's say intelligent and well-mannered, perspective, effective. responsible,
результативное
Я думаю, дружное общество, дружба.
friendly,
Да, доверяют друг
pros
другу. В этом обществе
prosper,
доверяют.
trust in each other, healthy relationships,
инновационное общество.
innovating, generating. So,
Да, видите, как всё
can you
сразу
see
будет,
what
перспективы
can
сразу
change
приходят. Всё меняется сразу.
by simply changing the way of listening, the way you hear?
Ну, пастор, у нас, знаете, как говорят, блин, вот эту тему затронул, у нас там голод, а ты тут про
Some
вопросы
people
говоришь.
say that
Вот так, если
this
ты
is
что-то
not a
говоришь,
serious
зачем ты
topic
меня
because
переспрашиваешь?
there is hunger
Ты
and
переспрашиваешь.
you are
Нет,
talking
нам война,
about
а тут мы с
something
тобой.
stupid.
Ты переспрашиваешь, зачем?
So
ты
you ask
Есть
again,
состоит из
and this
мелочей.
is
из
life.
мелочей?
This
Люди,
is life,
ну,
and
даже,
life
там, опять-таки,
consists
это
of
вопрос
these
критики,
small
там, обидится на тебя,
details.
если ты подумаешь, что ты его критикуешь.
So maybe people will think that you criticize them or something.
Поэтому даже не хотят поднимать такие мелкие вопросы.
Like
Почему не поднимают? Ну, типа, это
this topic can
не
be
важно.
accepted by society like offensive.
Синяк портит виноградники.
Да, цветы еще написано, а виноградник еще в цвету.
А те вопросы — это важнейшие
So
задачи.
questions are very, very important in our life.
Задавать вопросы.
Being able or know how to ask questions,
Это вопросы
it's very important. They have to be constructive.
Это не вопросы просто, чтобы
These are not the questions to kill time,
придумать ложь или какой-то
to
или съесть.
find some excuses or lie. Healthy questions, goal-oriented questions,
Человек хочет знать,
connected with the topic, when the person wants to know, when he or she is eager to get the answer. This is what I value, this is what I think worthy. So they sometimes ask,
а с другой стороны вы требуете, чтобы не задавали вопросы.
Не понимаю.
so people sometimes come to pastor and tell him that he is upset when people ask again, but pastor at the same time is upset that people don't ask questions. So it's kind of paradox, and we're going to discuss it. So you are upset when people ask questions, and you understand that from these questions people haven't listened to you, or they ask questions which people don't listen, they weren't here and now, and they don't remember what was there in the book or at the last service or 5 seconds ago. So of course such questions upset. And in this, then why do I ask people to ask questions? You want people to ask questions, to think deeper, to clarify, to get more from you. Then such question, constructive questions, will show that or prove that the person wants something. And then in this case, okay, people again, they mix up and they don't understand what to do. To ask or not to ask. So one thing is when I ask question to understand, and the other thing is I repeat your question or repeat the question because I have been dreaming, daydreaming.
Надо принять этот факт, что
Человек не понимает, что когда он учит ушли, все равно это видно.
видно. Надо принять как факт, что я еще этого не умею, допустим.
По перефразам, по деталям видно, что человек хочет уточнить. Но когда человек вот на автомате или очень лукавый,
Это тоже
So
видно.
looking at the details, you can clearly see that
И
the
как раз
person wants
здесь,
to
надо
ask
признать как факт. Да,
the
у меня есть
question,
эта
and it's
проблема,
not ask
и с
again,
ней
but
надо
paraphrase or
разобраться. В таком
wants to
случае можно
clarify things.
разобраться и можно
So when you
измениться.
understand
А
that
если
there is a
продолжать
problem,
дальше избегать
you
этой
can
ответственности, только будешь дальше
deal with
деградировать
it.
больше
So
и
if
всё.
you just run away from this responsibility, you will degrade.
Перепитувати і задавати
Ask
питання
again.
– це зовсім дві полярні різні
Ask
речі.
again and
Перше,
clarify,
коли людина
they are
перепитує,
different.
і
When a
ви
person
на неї не відповідаєте,
asks
тому що
again,
ви бачите, що людина елементарно несерйозна, і вона тратить ваш час, і вона
you
навіть не
see that the
збирається
person is
ще раз
not
слухати, якщо вона
serious,
перепитала.
and even if you
Друге,
repeat,
якщо
this
ви
person might
вимагаєте
not
задавати,
listen to you
просите
again.
задавати питання,
But
ви
when
тоді
you ask to
відчуваєте,
ask
що ваша робота
questions,
не просто
you
так,
feel
і що
that your
ваш
work
час
is
і сили не потрачені, і що ви
worthy,
потрібні, і
that
ця людина
your
просто поміняється.
time has a result, and the person will change. When a person asks you again, he or she takes time, and as a personality, this effect of personality is the values, the personality of this person is not serious. So a lot of people would like to talk to you. A lot of people would like to pay a price to talk to you, and you have a lot of answers. A lot of answers to their questions. But when people
вы чувствуете себя, что вы их должны развлекать.
So when people simply ask questions just to ask again, just to make it look like a question, it seems that you have to entertain them. But you have a lot of answers, and that's why you are upset. So when people don't ask serious questions or questions, you simply don't want to waste your time because you don't see the demand for this presence and for these answers. There is a level of personality. The level of personality and the question you ask, it's you, your level. If there is no level of personality, there are no questions. So what it means, everything goes to developing of your personality in all the possible spheres. But when you ask again, Pastor Sandy asks, then when you ask again, then you explain, you have already explained a lot of things, and you are not interested in the topic, you are interested just in this moment when you have to come up with some excuses. So these are two different positions. First is go deeper and make more questions to clarify things, and it's being interested in developing, and the other thing is just lying. So they are two different things, absolutely. I think that we have to draw the situation. Because when pastor says, pastor wants to preach or wants to talk to you, he has prepared. He has prepared, and he's like a teacher. The condition of the student or the pupil or a disciple is to listen, to eat, to catch the idea, to look in the eyes of your teacher, to sit in the first row, or to wash your ears and so on. So be in the condition of prepared. That's why this situation that you haven't heard can't exist. It's like the guy...
Вам парень говорил, да? То есть, ну, он обиделся в принципе, что ситуация такая появилась. То есть ее не должно быть.
There shouldn't be such situation that you haven't heard. It's nonsense. So it's not understandable why you are here then. Why am I speaking? So of course the pastor is upset because he's talking and you're not here, you're not listening. And second, why pastor likes to have questions from us. It's when I'm talking, for example, to a person and he answers something different. The person didn't take time to think. For example, you ask about one thing and they answer with your templates, something absolutely not connecting with this topic. So, when a person thought over about your question, thought over about the idea that pastor asked, so talking about production, we have connection or two-side connection. So you have one part, and when pastor tells you something, you give out a product, something ready, something you have thought over. So sometimes people really don't want to think, and sometimes people ask you, you know, like a contrary question so that you answer the question that you asked.
И он, да, что
So,
там написано? А ну скажите там. Ну, то
For
есть, и он
example,
не-
you ask, have you
да,
read
и
this
подскажи
book?
мне,
Do
то
you
есть
know what
человек
it
не
is about?
хочет
And the
ничем,
person answers,
ничего
for
платить,
example,
ни
yes,
как работать,
or
ни как
no,
думать. Он
and
просто
have
хочет
you
вот,
read
ага,
what
вот
is
сказал,
there?
вот услышал,
So
там сделал, ага,
sometimes
там
people
услышал.
don't
И
want to
таким
work
образом
and
он
don't
сам
want to
ничего
get
не производит. Если говорить про то, что
information
думание это
from
производит. И
different
вопрос тот, который
sources.
ты даешь, это производит.
So
Так
the
вот, почему пастор любит вопросы? Потому что это
That's
говорит
why
о
our
том, что мы
pastor
были
likes
внимательны, мы были
questions,
учениками,
because
мы
it
слышали,
means for
мы
him that
подумали, я
we
как-то уже
have
своё
heard,
приложил,
we
своё
have
понимание,
thought,
и я
we
выдал уже
have
вопрос. Я готов идти дальше в этой
at
теме.
least
Я хочу учиться. Я думаю, также это говорит о том, что если я задаю вопрос, мне
worked
интересно.
on this topic,
И пастор еще часто говорит, что
digested
мы не
it.
задаем вопросы. Почему пастор говорит, задавайте вопросы, а люди стесняются? Или
People
еще там
feel
что-то
shy
говорят.
sometimes
Пастор
to
говорит,
ask
что это есть
questions,
уважение.
and
Задавать вопросы.
our pastor
Почему
Sunday
уважение?
says that
Меня
it's
интересует. Вы же говорите об
you're
этом. Значит, меня
showing
интересует. Меня
respect.
интересует то, о чем вы говорите.
Because
Я
if
хочу
you
знать.
ask
Я хочу
questions,
больше понимать.
you
Потому что
show
мы все равно можем понимать
the
до конца.
pastors that
Вот то, что
you
пастор мне
want to
за
get
парафразу
this
говорит. Я ж 50
information.
лет хожу на планете Земля.
It's what
Парафразу
my
я использую лет 20,
pastor
а
told
ты
me
его где-то
about
там
the
слышал
word
один раз.
paraphrase.
То есть, другими
You've heard
словами,
it
то, что
once,
выдает
and I've
пастор,
been
это какое-то мясо.
using it 50
Это
years. So
мясо,
it's
которое он
meat.
накопил
It's
из кучи опыта,
serious
книжек,
knowledge
отношений с Богом,
from a
изучения
lot
Библии,
of
всё, он нам
books, a
его
lot
выдает.
of
И мы не можем
hours
взять и писать
spent with God. And what He gives us, you cannot accept and understand immediately. But your question proves that you are learning. Maybe you don't understand everything, but you communicate. You ask, what did you mean by that? What did you mean by that thing? And I can tell you 100% because I've been almost all the time at this communication evenings. For example, I can prepare, I come, I'm ready, I come. I come sometimes having read material that pastor had sent me to prepare for such meeting. And for example, I can come and have a different perception of the topic. So if I don't ask questions, then I will live in my own world without understanding what pastor really wanted to talk about. But you understand what you understand.
Девушки хотят говорить, сзади.
Выходите.
Если человек не задает вопросы,
If
у
a
него
person
нет
doesn't
жажды.
ask
Он
a
сыт
question,
уже.
then the person
И
is
это, вот притчи
satisfied,
часто в книгах
full.
используют, когда
And Proverbs
мудрец,
sometimes,
учитель
very often
попросил
gives
ученика
such
привести
examples
лошадь, напоить ее.
when a teacher asked
не хотела пить. И вот несколько
his
вы можете
disciple
привести
to bring
лошадь
a
и даже
horse
наклонить ее
to
пить, но она
the
будет только
river.
пить, когда у нее будет
So
жажда.
you can
Точно
bring
так же
a
вот,
horse
я,
to the
я
source,
ученикаюсь в
but you
этом, и
cannot
постоянно
make it
работаю, потому
drink.
что я не хочу быть
So I don't
неблагодарной,
want
быть,
to be
неблагодарной, что пастор вкладывает, а я сижу и
ungrateful
нет
because
никакой
our
реакции.
pastor
И, ну,
invests
я
in
такой
us,
очень, я очень
and
благодарна,
I
пастор, вам, что вы
want to
формируете
thank you that you
здоровое
form
общество,
a
что вы
healthy
заставляете,
society,
ну, смотреть
and
под
that
углом,
you make us look from
под
the
углом
angle
того,
of
что мы даже не могли додуматься до этого, и
what we
почтение,
even
и тоже
haven't
вот
thought of, from the
доступ, и
angle of
реакция, эмоции.
excess
Я вам очень благодарна.
emotions, reactions. Thank you very much.
Дело в том, что я хочу сказать,
The
что,
thing is that
наверное, нет таких людей здесь, у
there
которых
are
не
no
было бы
people
вообще вопросов.
who
То есть у
have never
пастора
had
настолько
questions.
глубокие темы.
Pastor
Я
has so
покаялась
deep
недавно, я
topics.
только
I
месяц, я уже в
repented 1
центре,
month
и вот
ago. I
каждая
am
тема пастыря
going
настолько
through a
глубокая и
rehab
интересная, что я не поверю, что у людей
center
нету вопросов. Есть
program,
только
and I
молчат,
don't
потому
believe
что есть
that
свое
people
«я».
don't
Вот
ask,
я
don't
поняла,
have
и мне
questions.
больше ничего не
They
надо. И
keep
углубляться
silence
мы
because
не
they
хотим.
think they
То
understand
есть
at
это
their
наша
level. We don't
самоуверенность,
want
это
to go
уже наши
deeper.
амбиции.
We have our own
Поэтому задавать
ambitions.
вопросы
So
всегда
to ask
очень
questions,
важно.
it's
Это
very
вы
important.
формируете свою
You form
личность.
your
Вы
personality.
где-то учитесь
You
немножко
learn
уступить, если
to
у вас есть вот эта вот гордыня и самолюбие.
work
Это
with your
лучший способ
pride,
задавать
maybe
вопросы,
work with
проявлять
your
интерес. Это вы учите
complexes.
прежде всего
So
себя.
you learn and you teach yourself by
Я хотел
asking
дополнить просто, что
questions.
она сказала. Я думаю, о чем вы говорите, сестра? То есть о том, что пастор говорит какую-то новую информацию,
So
и
when
она
our
не
pastor
вступает
gives
в
us new
диалог с тем, что
information,
мы имеем, с моими знаниями. Мы все
new
имеем какие-то
information
знания.
cannot reflect
Ассоциация это
in
называется.
our
Пастор говорит
brain.
какую-то информацию,
So
она не вступает в ассоциации.
pastor
Я не начинаю думать, а правда
Sunday
это или
says
нет, а
something,
как
and
я
I
к
don't
этому
think if it is the
отношусь, а
truth,
вообще,
what
насколько я
is
это
my
понял.
opinion
А я
about
просто,
it.
она
I
ударяется в
just
мою
it
какую-то
just
мою
hits
твердыню,
my
мою твердолобость. Ну я так думаю, ну это может быть. То есть я
my
могу так
pride,
сомнения ставить,
maybe
и
my
получается, и поэтому мне сдается
misunderstanding,
вопрос,
and
да?
I
То
don't
есть и вот
want
эта
to
твердыня,
ask
это и
questions.
есть
There are no
гордость,
questions
это
because
и есть
I'm proud,
самоуверенность,
because
самомнение, я
I
так
have my
думаю.
own opinion about things and so on. That is a problem why we don't ask questions. I want to tell you as a teacher, as a former teacher. As a teacher, I wanted you to understand our pastor, for example. Tailor makes a suit, and he sees the result. And he sees the result, and he is glad that everything is beautiful, that he is thanked, and this has good results. The teacher, how can the teacher be happy when he has a feedback? It's not like seeds being thrown into the asphalt, but it's also my problem. I have been working many times feeling that I don't seed my seeds into the ground, good ground. I seed it into the asphalt road. So as a pastor, as a parent, as a teacher, leader, we want to see the feedback from our students. And one of these things, it's not only your life which is changing or has changed, but showing your interest. When this person shows that he is with you or interested in what you are giving, because you feel that the audience is eating this information, is consuming, is quenching. There is a stone, for example, and there is a sponge. Both things you can put in water. If your personality is a stone, then you put it in water, it is wet, you take it out, and it is dry. There is nothing. If you put and your heart is soft, you absorb water. It absorbs water, and when you press it, it will give this water to somebody else. So, of course, you can be wet, but you can dry out, but you can go and give water to somebody else. That is exactly what God says, that He wants to change our lives and make it flesh, make it alive. It's not when we come and we are like pastor, like a teacher, I can tell you, you feel it. If the audience wants you, if the audience is percepting. And one of the signs, it's our questions, our eyes, our all being. We have to become alive. So this audience becomes alive, asks questions. So you have life here.
Okay. Да.
Хорошо, и у нас есть
and we have
пункты, тезисы
some
общения.
theses.
Тема называется
The topic is
«Почему
why
мы
we
переспрашиваем?»
ask again.
Это есть
Is
показатель
it the
нездоровой
sign
личности.
of unhealthy?
Окна и двери. Двери откройте.
Let's open some
Это не есть показатель
windows.
здоровой личности.
So this is a sign of unhealthy personality. So why we call the person unhealthy when they ask again? So it's like way of life. Why this person cannot be called healthy?
Человек, который переспрашивает не для уточнения,
The
а просто
person
чтобы
who
переспросить,
simply asks
является нездоровым,
is
потому что это
unhealthy
является показателем того,
because
что он
it shows
поверхностный,
that
он избегает
he
ответственности,
is avoiding
он тянет время, чтобы
responsibility,
что-то придумать,
he is not deep thinking, He's not careful.
Не уважает
He
собеседника.
doesn't respect the
Он не
opponent.
ценит время
He doesn't
собеседника.
value the
Он
time
не
of
является
this
полноценной
opponent,
личностью.
and he is not a normal
У него
whole
комплексы, он нездорово не может признать, что он
personality, and
что-то
he
не
or
так
she
сделал
has
или не
complexes.
слушал.
They
Он не
cannot
может признаться.
admit
него нет
having
любви к
done
истине.
something wrong, and this person
Обманывает.
doesn't like
Лукавит.
the truth. This
Ну,
person
а
lies,
еще можно чисто физиологически, может глухой.
maybe deaf,
Ну, нездоровий, глухой.
simply deaf.
Не дочуває, знаєш.
Я думаю, що така людина, яка перепитує,
I think such a person who asks again
цими
wants
словами заповнити пустоту. Тобто вона
wants
хоче, щоб
to
ніхто не здогадався, що
feel
всередині
this
пусто.
emptiness
І от
with the words.
коливанням
So this
повітря вона
person
намагається,
is
якось
trying to
запудрити
talk,
мозги
talk,
його-
talk,
своєму
and
співрозмовнику.
show that there is
це
something
зовсім не здорово,
inside.
вона просто
So
пуста
it's
всередині,
absolutely
і
unhealthy,
таким
and
чином
this
просто
person is
лукавство своє
simply
прикриває.
lying and covering this lie with the words.
Что человек, когда задает вопрос,
There
он
can be a
думает, что,
moment when a person
когда
asks a
тот, кто
question,
спрашивал, не повторит
so
его
he
слова, а как-то
thinks
скажет
that the person
по-другому, и, может быть, после того этот вопрос станет понятным.
be more clear when the person who has asked it asks again, and maybe it will be
Хорошо.
clearer.
Что значит переспрашивать?
What
Это
means to
значит,
ask again?
человек
It
услышал
means
ответ
the
и
person
снова переспрашивает
has
о том же
heard
самом, что на
and
самом деле
asks
уже услышал.
again about
Или дан
something
ответ.
that he
То есть
has
что значит
already heard.
переспрашивать?
It means
понятно.
ask again.
Первое. Когда
First,
пастор уже дал ответ на вопрос,
when the
который
pastor
волновал
answered the
человека, а
question,
человек снова
and the person
переспрашивает, берет
asks
то,
again,
что пастор
he
сказал,
takes
только что и
something
произносит это
that
по-своему.
pastor has
То же
asked,
самое,
but
только в виде вопроса.
repeats it
Сам
the
человек
same way,
объясняет
but
это
in the
тем,
form of
что
a
он
question.
делает это,
The
чтобы
person
уточнить. Но на самом деле,
finds
почему
an
он это
excuse
делает?
by
Почему это не
explaining
есть
that he
признак
wants to
здоровой
clarify, but it's not
Второе. О чем говорит
a sign
поведение-
of healthy personality.
Второе. О чем говорит
Second,
поведение человека,
what
когда он
does
переспрашивает? Первое.
the
Человек
behavior
не
of a
имеет
person
навыка
mean
разговора с
when
самим собой.
he asks again? First,
как надо
the
было сделать?
person has
Услышав ответ
no
внутри себя,
skills of
надо
talking to
сказать,
himself.
«Ага,
But
как.
what he should have
Хорошо.
done, he should have asked
понял.
himself and talked to himself. So to feel or hear the question inside, so the person should repeat this question not aloud, but to take a pause, and during this pause repeat this question to yourself inside. Work it out. Work out this question yourself inside. That is that is why when a person asks this question aloud, it means this person cannot talk to himself. The ability to criticize himself, the ability to analyze the situation inside, it's being able to breathe yourself up. So a lot of us, we don't like to correct ourselves. We cannot, because we don't like it, because it's not pleasant to see our naked places or failures. So that is why it's not healthy, because it's not pleasant to see your weakness. So when there is no inside mirror and you don't face yourself, you see yourself only good, only cool. You want all the world to see the same, because inside you don't criticize yourself, you don't correct yourself. That's why you're not healthy. These questions shouldn't hear anyone, but you talk to yourself about those questions. Please write down. I want word about the ability to talk to yourself inside. How important it is to communicate to yourself inside yourself. A lot of people don't use this exercise, and that's why it's That's why we are trying to lie or sneak away, because we don't want to see the truth. Second, the person repeats what he or she has heard to prove something. So, not to prove, but maybe to prove himself or herself that he heard what he has heard. So, this way, the person moves responsibility to the opponent. So, the person doesn't want to think, and he starts using opponent. Third, this person is bored with himself. Why a person wants to use someone else? Because he's bored to talk to himself. Such people cannot be in peace. Such people, when they are by themselves, they feel bad. They need music, they need TV, they need some destructive things, because they are worried, because they have crisis of personality. When a person is talking to himself or is able to talk to himself, conduct this inside dialogue, this person can grow. The person who doesn't talk to himself, he or she doesn't find these weak parts, weak things which he or she can correct. During this communication, I remember one example. It's cultivated by our society. For example, we had one person. He never learned his lessons. When he came to the blackboard, the teacher, for example, asked, "Tell me this topic, something about Napoleon." And he said, Napoleon. He repeated the name, he repeated the date, and it started this dialogue. And in this case, the teacher says that you have a great talent. You will turn up to be okay in every situation. So I myself the same person. Because I'm very ashamed to confess of that, but it's always a talent. My education, I am a musician, and musicians, you know that you pass your examination, and there is a question you don't, for example, know anything about. For example, about an opera. I haven't heard, for example, this question. I pass those examinations the same way. So that I made the teacher tell me everything with my questions. I had 5+ and good references for the further studying. So I'm thinking about such people who are really not deep, and I'm fighting this really. Such people sometimes become bosses because they know how to use such questions and such moments, and they have good speaking abilities. They become bosses of some structures, and the structure is becoming bad quality. It's simply common in our society because the boss is not the one who knows, but the one who uses the questions or this ability to get this information from people. And now I'm sitting here and thinking to myself, oh my God, it's exactly like there is a skill to be able to turn every situation for your good position or good result. So it's not that the society doesn't know it. It's actually our society is upside down. Our people cultivate this quality, and this quality is considered to be good when you know how to out of the situation by asking again, by doing such things. So thank you for telling that. So people who can lie, these people are praised by our society. It's a value. So you can turn out, you can find, you can tell something, you can actually it tells about the level of the sickness. It's not pleasant, it's bad. So when we praise such people, these people, exactly these people will lie to us tomorrow. It's the main thing that these people don't come to our team. So that's why our society is not healthy. Okay, let's go on. Number 4. The person doesn't believe to himself and struggles from greatest disbelief to himself. Fifth, the person doesn't respect his own words. So why do speak to such people? Because the person who speaks doesn't mean anything. The person sometimes tells me something, and when I repeat or ask the person what he or she told me, I ask to repeat, and they don't remember. I retell them what you just said, and the person doesn't remember. So when you are talking to such people, these people have empty words. These people don't even mean to do it, don't mean to follow their words. He has even forgotten. Pastor, why I think it is happening? There hasn't been preparing. No, it's the meaning of the person. His or her words are light and they have no value, no weight. It's better when people don't answer these their own words. They don't respect, they don't value. It's better to keep silence. So fifth, for a person, his own words don't value anything, and he doubts his own words. These people doubt your words because they doubt their own words. That's why this person clarifies the words which he has heard. 6. This is a person that Bible says the person with double thinking. So 7. Because the person is not healthy from inside, he or she asks again. Pastor comments something about his meeting. Okay, a lot of people today have the same problem. Almost everybody struggles this. When the person doesn't ask again, he accepts, he believes his own word. The person is a person of decision. The British say that one word is enough for a wise. They don't ask again, they don't ask why, they don't ask to repeat and so on. One word is enough for a wise man. It means that the person has inside reputation and harmony. And there are commands. Let's read commands. There are people who are watching us online. Hello everyone, we are greeting you.
Есть это все на английском онлайн.
Is there
На
any
моем
everything
Facebook и
online
так
on
далее.
my
Проверяли, что
Facebook?
оно поставлено.
So is it working? Is it on?
Я буду без имен читать.
Without
А в фильме «Папа»
calling
очень
names.
хорошо это показано.
The
В фильме
movie
«Папа».
Papa,
фильме
it's
«Папа» это
father.
еврейский фильм,
There
русский
is
фильм про
a
еврейского
Jewish
отца,
film,
когда он
Russian film about
сын
Jewish
скрипачом
father
стал, и он
when
приехал
his
и не
son
почитал свое
became
тело. И он уже не захотел его...
violinist. So
Хорошо. Это вторые тогда комментарии.
let's go to
Об этом мы сейчас говорим, чтобы...
let's go on.
Выражение. Прочитаю их
There
только.
is a
Ирина
phrase,
Гринюк.
Irina
Не лепи
by Irina
Господа в свои
Griniuk.
мозги. То
Don't.
есть, это расшифровка. Так как. Идет расшифровка, пастор.
There
Так
is
как наши
a
мысли и
phrase
мысли
which we
пастора
have to explain.
намного выше наших.
Our
Это самая важная
thoughts
тема,
and the thoughts
потому что это
of
как
our
воздух для
pastor
человека.
are
Да, пастор
different.
Татьяна, это
The
очень
thoughts of
круто.
our
Нужно
pastor
знать, только
are
человек
higher.
понял, и
And
насколько это
you
ему
have to
нужно вообще.
understand if the
А так
person
непонятно,
understood,
нужно это ему
and
или
you don't
нет.
know if the person needs it or not.
Поняли? Ну, хорошо, дальше, пошли дальше.
There is a question. There is one more question.
Наталья Белоусова. Коммуникациям надо учиться.
Communications, you have to learn
Отношения
communications.
тоже важная
Relationships
область
are
жизни, как и
very
духовность,
important
финансы и
part of our
здоровье.
life. It's the same like finance and health.
Несконцентрированный человек имеет
A
много
person who is
информации,
not
и человек не
concentrated
успевает
has a
ее
lot of
воспринимать.
information,
Есть
and this person,
в первом письме середины.
excuse me,
Хорошо.
there are some
Середина, середина, вот
things,
середина.
some corrections.
Пока закончится, что ты
Там был последний комментарий, пастор. Ну,
There is a
мы
last
заканчиваем.
comment.
Последний комментарий. Несконцентрированный человек.
The
Он
person who
много
is not
информации
concentrated
слышит, но человек не
hears a
успевает
lot
ее
of
воспринимать,
information, but
потому что есть разные
doesn't
темпераменты.
manage
Я уже
to
писала.
accept it.
Темперамент,
Because there are
да,
different
то
people,
темперамент
of
это не
course, there are
уме
different
работает.
people,
Ум
but
работает
it's
по-другому,
about brain
все
work.
одинаковые.
You have
Внутри.
the same
Темперамент
brain.
это реакция.
Inside,
Это стена какая-то.
your
Это
temper,
не
it's kind of
с
your
мозгом.
reaction to things,
Мозг,
but it's not
да, в
connected
порядке.
with your brain. If your brain is okay, you're working.
Вот, к теме, да? О, есть.
Concerning to
Ганюк.
the topic.
Это уже как привычка,
It's
как
like a
натура.
habit,
Я
like your
даже у внучек
nature.
своих это
Even I
замечаю.
see it
Переспросить
when
это как
I'm
порядок
watching my
вещей.
grandchildren. When you
Неумение
ask
быть
again,
здесь и
it's
сейчас.
like normal.
А как
They
быть, если
cannot
человек
be here
действительно
and now and
недослышал?
concentrated.
Друзья, об этом
But what
говорим.
to
Да.
do if the person
Поверхностность
really
несерьезно
hasn't heard you
в
well?
отключке
We spoke
находится.
about it.
Уход от
The
ответственности
person
легче
usually
переложить на
is in
чужие
the
плечи.
condition
Без
of
этой темы мы даже не задумывались о
not
последствиях
concentrated.
этого.
We don't think about it. We have never thought about the consequences of this problem. Sometimes I have an opinion about it that our society, post-Soviet
Это просто какой-то
society, it's like
парк какой-то
a
огромный,
park.
какой-то концентрационный или зоопарк.
It's like the zoo or something. So people were set free, and the main thing is just to be dressed, to be good looking, but the real life values, they don't mean anything for our people. They haven't been taught different things, and I don't understand, like, how will you live without me in this country? I feel pity for people who haven't seen me because they don't know what's going on. They live with their own understanding. There are no values. There are no systems inside. There is no human being inside the person. There is no personality. There is body, but there is no person. How do you live? Like, you live this way? How? You just step over your neighbors, you step over some people, parents, family. You just don't understand. There is no system of values, common human system of values, which makes you a human being. I really am so sorry for such people. We have to bring it to people. We have to inform people and build healthy society. When Pastor was talking, it seems like in the Old Testament, when the nation lived without the king, so everyone did what they understood and what they wanted. There is somebody coming and we're welcoming our guests. Hello, it's a pastor. Let's greet the pastor from Israel. There is a translation and the pastor asks to join us. So those days there was no king, and we have such disguised understanding of life, understanding of values. We have so different understanding. So if you don't show us with your finger, we think that it's okay. It's just a normal life. That is what I see every time. That is the reaction that I face every time. It's a problem. Without such things, your life will be full of pain, because people don't understand why they behave this way. If people don't analyze that, your life will be full of pain, disappointment. You just don't compare your expectations with the expectation of the society. You have made your own world, and there is no balance, because it is unlike what people think and what people are expecting from your side. So our sister continues that when we hear the word value, and when you don't show us the thing which this value contains, or we won't think about it, we won't even see it, because we don't think in this direction. So we see and we live only with the things we have already heard. Unfortunately, we don't want to think ourselves over some things. The question is what girls are looking for. Girls are looking for a man with income. It's kind of command, because we had one person gave us 15 commands. So the person was here and now, and the person commented every point we were discussing. Okay, thank you very much. The next comment. Yes, you are right. We don't know how to communicate and how to build relationships, because values like drink, like steal, it's not about communication. It's what kind of society? Pastor Sandy asks, so if you drink, if you lie, what kind of society is it? These people are training and becoming specialists in lying. So you understand that such people, they haven't heard the truth. It's not about communication at all. They don't know what you are talking about. They know only about their skills they have trained. So it's what our sister mentions, that you are valued because you can lie, and you can lie skillfully. It's awful, because our country respects such feelings, which healthy society thinks it's not a compliment. It's absolutely nonsense to be skillful and be respected for lying and sneaking away from problems and responsibility. So why? You have to respect people who know how to be responsible for their words. Yes, of course. There are people who feel sorry for you if you don't drink. People in society think that you are unhealthy if you have healthy principles of life. Let's go on.
им нужно было проснуться, и нам тоже пора. Пастор поднимает эту
Jesus
тему для
had
того, чтобы мы
disciples who were
проснулись.
sleeping as well, and they had to be woken up by
Евреи
Jesus.
отвечают
Our
вопросом на
pastor
вопрос. Они
raises
вообще
these
такой диалог ведут.
questions because he wants us to wake up. He wants us to be here and now. There is an announcement. There is a car, Ford, parked in front of the gates. They found a white Ford.
Ну проверьте все равно.
Please check because there is a car that is blocking the road.
Читаем. К
Let's
сожалению,
go on with
большинство людей
comments.
не хочет работать над собой.
Unfortunately, many
Их
people don't want to
устраивает
work on
недослышать,
themselves. They
переспросить,
are okay
сделать вид,
with
что не
asking
понял,
again,
вообще,
with
чтобы
not
не
understanding,
напрягаться.
with
Лучше оставаться
misunderstanding.
тупым.
They don't
Пусть
want
другие за меня
to
думают.
work out. They want to be
Переспрашивать
stupid,
— это
which
не
is
держать
easier
фокус на
and
сказанном.
not so
Это признак
responsible.
безразличия и
When you ask
невежества.
again, it's just
меня
a proof
такое
of your
бывает.
being
Это, наверное, у
ignorant.
всех бывает.
Sometimes
Это надо
I
всё время
have
быть
such things.
сконцентрированным.
It's
Вообще, причина
because every
переспрашивания-
time you have to be concentrated, and it's
Да, вообще,
hard.
причина переспрашивания
So why
разная
people
бывает.
ask again? Because there are different reasons.
Есть еще начальные комменты.
Ну, начальные комменты, да. Ну что ж, друзья,
So guys,
довольны темой,
are
нет?
you happy with the topic we have
Следующей
been
неделе
discussing
уже известно, какая
today? Do you know the topic of the next
тема?
week?
В курсе? О чем? Какой?
What's
Еще нет, да?
topic?
Ну, значит,
What is
вы
the topic
получите
of
от
next
нас
week?
сообщение,
No, you will
где
get
будут социальные сети,
next
активные
week's
увидите.
topic. We
Было
will
приятно с
see
вами
it in
пообщаться.
social
Вот.
networks. It was nice to see you. Thank you very much for being with us, and we bless you and wish you good
Книги.
luck.
Вам раздавали книги.
Books,
Кто-то
please.
купил, кто-то покупает,
If you
или
buy
кто-то
books,
возвращает.
return the money.
Ну,
If
кто
you
там
don't buy
ответственный за это?
books, return
Ну,
the
давайте
books.
сюда.
Thank you
Сюда.
very much. Thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. It was Natalie, and see you next Sunday. May God bless you.